The Plague of Justinian, a dark shadow over Byzantium. The year is 541 CE, and the Byzantine Empire stands as the most formidable power of its time. Its capital, Constantinople, is the envy of the world, a beacon of culture, commerce, and imperial ambition. Under the rule of Emperor Justinian I, the city flourishes with architectural marvels such as the Hagia Sophia, towering over a labyrinth of bustling markets, artisan workshops, and grand palaces. Merchants from distant lands arrive daily, bringing not only silk, spices, and knowledge, but also, unbeknownst to them, an invisible spectre of death. The city's vitality is intoxicating, but just beneath the surface, an unseen catastrophe is preparing to unfold. One fateful day, a merchant vessel docks at the bustling harbor, its hull heavy with grain from Egypt. As the ship is unloaded, dock workers and traders swarm to inspect the goods, oblivious to the real danger hidden within the wooden crates and burlap sacks. In the shadows, black rats scurry, their tiny bodies infested with fleas carrying a deadly pathogen, Yersinia pestis. Within days, an unexplainable fever grips the first victims. A dock worker collapses, drenched in sweat, his body convulsing. Rumors spread swiftly, whispering of an unfamiliar affliction. At first, the citizens dismiss it as a common illness, but as more fall ill, each displaying the same grotesque black swellings, the murmurs turn into cries of fear. Constantinople is on the precipice of an unprecedented catastrophe. What began as an isolated illness rapidly spirals into an uncontrollable epidemic. The disease does not discriminate. Rich and poor alike succumb to its ravages. High fever, violent chills, and excruciating pain overtake the victims, soon followed by grotesque black swellings, buboes, forming in the groin, armpits, and neck. Physicians, lacking understanding of bacteria or contagion, prescribe ineffective remedies, from bloodletting to incense fumigation. Desperate citizens seek divine intervention, flocking to churches to pray for salvation, but the disease spreads mercilessly. Households barricade themselves in fear, yet the pestilence infiltrates even the most fortified homes, carried by unseen invaders, the fleas on rats. The once thriving city is gripped by a paralyzing dread. Within the sacred halls of the Great Palace, Emperor Justinian receives dire reports from his advisors. What began as whispers of a minor outbreak has now erupted into a full-scale plague, devastating the empire's heart. Standing upon his marble balcony, he gazes down at the city he so carefully cultivated, now drowning in chaos. The streets, once vibrant with the sounds of trade and celebration, are filled with the wails of the suffering and the groans of the dying. Even the imperial court is not spared. Servants, soldiers, and high-ranking officials succumb one by one. The emperor, though steadfast in his resolve, cannot ignore the creeping fear that this plague could be divine retribution or worse, the harbinger of the empire's decline. Then, in a shocking turn of fate, Justinian himself falls ill. His body is racked with fever, and the dreaded swellings appear. Courtiers and physicians scramble, fearing the loss of their emperor and the potential collapse of imperial governance. For days, the palace is shrouded in silence, the empire collectively holding its breath. If Justinian dies, what will become of Byzantium? But against all odds, he survives, weak but alive. The ruler who once faced political turmoil and wars now emerges from his sickbed with renewed vigor, determined to reclaim his empire from the grips of death. While Justinian recovers, Constantinople descends further into darkness. With tens of thousands dead, the city's infrastructure collapses. The streets are littered with corpses, their sheer numbers overwhelming graveyards. Unable to bury the dead, officials order bodies to be stacked in mass pits or thrown into the sea. The air reeks of decay, and eerie silence replaces the once bustling city sounds. Famine follows, as food supplies dwindle due to the shortage of workers. The mighty empire, at the height of its ambition, is now gasping for survival. And yet, the human spirit endures. Slowly, the plague recedes. Those who survive emerge from their homes, cautiously stepping back into the world. The city, though wounded, begins to heal. Markets reopen, artisans return to their craft, and the hum of life gradually fills the air once more. Justinian, never one to surrender to despair, embarks on a massive reconstruction effort. He commissions new public works, fortifies the empire's defenses, and continues his grand vision of legal and architectural reform. Constantinople, though forever scarred, refuses to be broken. The plague of Justinian would return in waves for the next 2 centuries, shaping the course of history. The empire would struggle, but it would not fall. In its wake, the plague left lessons about resilience, the unpredictability of nature, and the fragility of human civilization. As we reflect on our own struggles with disease, we find echoes of the past whispering to us. History does not repeat itself, but it often rhymes.